Welcome to the Livelong Podcast, where your health is your power. My name is Erin Hunter, and I am the senior editor here at Livelong Media. I am joined today by Catherine Balsam-Schwaber. She is the CEO of Solaria Bio, a biotech company pioneering natural, clinically proven solutions for healthy aging. And what we're going to be diving into today, which is great for healthy aging and something that's probably still under-identified and under-talked about is the bone health and the gut-bone connection as well. So Catherine is going to join us for a very fascinating conversation, and we are going to explore bacteria, bones, menopause, women's health, and really help you guys dig into what we could be doing more of to age better. So you will see Solaria at the upcoming Livelong Women's Health Summit, which is going to be one of the largest women's health events. It's going to be amazing. It's coming to San Francisco, April 17th and 18th, and it's really designed for women who want more. They want to go deeper into the science. They want to know what they need to do to age well, and they want to be inspired and around other people who care about health and just want to enjoy themselves and learn to live with independence. So please use promo code Erin at checkout and you could get money off your ticket. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Catherine.
Thank you. I am really excited actually to go to the event. I feel like there's so much I can learn also.
It's so endless. You know how they talk about a cup that overflows
Yes.
and you have so in the women's health industry, like there's 300 cups
Yeah.
and they're all overflowing.
Yeah.
There's so much that is not often talked about. And
Yes.
what's talked about more now is bone health, osteoporosis, this idea that we want to be stronger as
Yeah.
we age, right? But nevertheless, even though it's talked about more, there is so much we need to know. And one of the things that you and your company is working on is this idea of teaching people that your gut impacts how strong your bones are.
Yeah.
So I would just love to dive into why.
Well, uh, before we even jump into that, let's just talk about why bone health is important. Because when you think about aging, especially as a woman, but for all people, osteoporosis is a natural part of your life and your body's evolution. But especially for women, as we are losing estrogen, it does degrade the density of our bones even more significantly than men. Also, men start out with a more dense bone. They have more bone density than we do, so we are at a disadvantage. So when we think about our aging bodies, and especially at a time when women are, really living longer than ever, losing the infrastructure of your physical self is not only difficult, but life threatening. So, one of the components of Solaria is that this business was actually started thinking about microbiome in general. And many microbiome strains actually come from feces. They're derived from feces because the idea is that the microbes you pick up come from food passing through your gut. So they're synthesized and then put into microbiotic product. We
So
thought,
just to understand, wait,
yeah,
no, sorry. Just to understand this right.
yeah,
Um, Many of the strains in probiotics and gut
yes,
supplements nowadays
yes,
are derived from human
poop,
feces and
yes,
poop. And
yes.
okay, okay. You know
So
what? I guess that makes sense,
yeah,
but wow.
yeah, yes, it is. It's something that not a lot of people know. So we thought, why have to wait until the microbes come out of the gut? What if you isolated strains and microbes directly from fruits and vegetables? So we built the largest data bank of isolates and strains with live microbes from fruits and vegetables. So that's kind of where we start. And that's important because as we started to do our work on Bondia, which is the bone product, we wanted to make it a medical food. So a medical food is an FDA designation that sits between a supplement and a pharmaceutical, where you have to do a full-blown drug level clinical trial in order to become a medical food. So a lot of supplements do testing, as you know, and testing is good, but it doesn't require an actual FDA level clinical clinical work to be able to prove with the data that it does work. So for us, we started with the innovation around fruits and vegetables. We isolated those microbes. We learned that combining those microbes in a very specific way, so there are really only four microbes working together, right? A lot of probiotics also have just tons and tons of strains, but it's the synergy of those microbes that make Bondia so powerful as it travels through your gut and works to help your bones. So, yep.
Um, what, why only four strains?
Yeah.
Because they often talk about you want more gut diversity. So
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering why isolating it is actually better for your entire flora and
Yeah.
this big, big population of gut microbes.
Yeah. So there's data that demonstrates that when you combine any 10 random strains, that at least two of them will counteract each other. So part of what we learned in this process that it's actually the symbiosis and the complementary effect of the strains working together that make a more powerful outcome for the human body. So this is a symbiotic, which means it's a prebiotic and a postbiotic put together. So when we pair the strains in a very specific way, we're able to see more powerful outcomes in the human body tied to those tied to the impact of those strains as a unit. So it is, we've talked, I'm sure you have talked about precision health. This is in the category of precision health, where we're really focusing on a specific outcome that we're looking for, which is the reduction of bone loss in the case of Bondia. But we can also use the platform in multiple ways on multiple disease states that are affected by, especially by inflammation, and fine tune the ability to have an impact on those specific disease states, which is unbelievable in my opinion. It is magic science because when you think about Bondia in particular, here's a product that was proven in clinical trials to reduce bone loss by 85% for women who have osteopenia. Osteopenia is like the perimenopause of osteoporosis. Preview. It's the preview of osteoporosis. But it does that made from squash root and chili pepper. So it's completely natural and non-toxic. And you could take it for 30 years to maintain your bone health.
So, okay, there's so many
I know.
avenues to go down, but what I really want to drill down right now is why would I not be able to eat that squash and get the benefits for my
Yeah,
bones right
that's
from
a
the source?
yeah, that's a great question. So you would have to eat 15 tons of squash in one setting to get the potency of the strain of squash that we are able to deliver in one pill,
I could do
which
that.
just is not possible,
No,
obviously.
I could do it. I could do it.
You really love
I,
squash. You love
I,
squash so much that you could do it. Um,
Oh,
But
okay,
it's,
so basically you isolate the strain and then you replicate it in a lab.
well, we're using live strains actually. So that is one of the other components of the work that we are doing. So our product is delivered cold chain. So it travels to you, it's made in the cold, it travels to you in the cold, and it stays in the refrigerator. And that helps to maintain the potency because it's alive. So that is another component of the benefit of, having reduced strains combined with elements of the ingredients like blueberry powder that actually help to feed the microbes inside of the capsule and keep your microbes alive.
So so okay, so this is really interesting though
Yeah.
because when you think about the gut, you've got
Yes.
this symbiotic feeding the gut.
Yep.
And then it affects your bones. Okay,
Yep.
so when we're going from point A to point B to point C, one word I heard you say in there was inflammation. Is
Hmm.
that fundamentally the cause of osteopenia, the perimenopause, of bone health, and the osteoporosis? Is it all surrounding inflammation?
It is. So the way that Bondia works in particular is that its first step when you take it is to strengthen the gut barrier. So it helps to tighten the gut lining so fewer inflammatory signals actually leak into the bloodstream. So that's like leaky gut, which is a thing we've talked about a lot over time. So we're essentially reducing or limiting your leaky gut. Then it helps to reduce the inflammatory immune signals. So it lowers the inflammatory signals that are called cytokines that are actually known in the body to accelerate bone breakdown, especially after menopause. So basically, your bone is alive and it's always degrading and building at the same time. And what we're able to do is reduce the immune attack on the part of your body that wants to reduce bone by allowing your body to, it doesn't necessarily produce more bone, but it helps to prevent your body from reducing bone. So as you age, your body wants to reduce and reduce and reduce more bone, and the inflammatory signals normally allow that to happen and sort of inhibit your ability to maintain bone. And what we are trying to do is insert ourselves in between there to prevent you from losing bone over time.
For so I'm curious
Yes.
to go into then this idea of bone health now
Yeah.
because if there are things we can do to lower the cytokines and the inflammation and the bone
Yeah.
breakdown. So that's also natural with aging, though, you're saying, is
Yeah.
that your body's built to break down, I guess.
Yeah. It
Is
is.
that a survival mechanism? Do you know if that's
Hmm.
a protective mechanism? Why do our bodies steal from our stores and our bones?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. I think I wouldn't consider it a survival mechanism. I think that perhaps the need to give your body the energy to be producing bone and maintaining your bone at the same level that you were in your 20s and 30s. I mean, remember, our bodies were designed thousands of years ago. So if I am a woman who, instead of hunting and gathering, is going to be caring and nurturing, perhaps my bone health wasn't quite as important physiologically. Now I am a CEO slaying into my 70s. I need to be able to stand upright and go to the gym and take care of my family, and innovate like crazy to save us all from having osteoporosis. I need to stop my bones from degrading. And part of what we see that is scary here is that basically 1 in 2 women over the course of their lifetime, over age 50, will experience a fracture related to low bone mass. I mean,
And that fracture is not associated with good outcomes.
correct. That fracture is associated with mortality, growth, gross volume in mortality rates that are really scary. I mean, I founded and ran a menopause company in 2019 called Kindra. And in the time that I was there, we were very focused on, it was the early days of the menopause movement. We were very focused on hot flashes and sex drive and things that are really important in that conversation. We barely spent any time thinking about or considering osteoporosis, which I don't fault us in any way, but now that you look at the data, the idea that women are not told by a physician to get a DEXA scan until they're 65 and their bones start degrading at 30 means that you have 30 years of compounding bone loss before you get your first test,
And
which is
that
way
sets
too
you up
late.
for failure. It
Correct.
does.
It does.
And
It does.
it's neither good for healthy aging nor longevity
You're right.
because women who we do end up living longer, but in poor health. And of
Yeah.
bone health is an unfortunate part of that.
Yeah. Yes. And I think it's one of those things, and speaking for myself, one of those things that I never have thought about, right? I am in good physical health. I work out. I do everything right. That's actually one of the things we hear more and more from women is I've been doing everything right. I went to get a DEXA scan. I'm 40 and I have osteopenia. Like, how can that be possible? And so part of this is you can do everything right, but you still have to be vigilant thinking about how you're going to protect your bones over time. And inflammation and the interaction in your gut is part of that journey. It's not just calcium, vitamin D, K2, and lifting weights or wearing a weighted vest. That almost isn't enough. I mean, that's what is scary because your body is really designed to be reducing bone over time.
Now, what's confusing to me, and I wonder if what's confusing to other older women out there and younger women such as myself,
Yeah.
there are studies that come out that strength training
Yeah.
can reverse some bone loss. It
Yeah.
can actually help build. So, what's the line between strength training being an effective intervention for preserving our bones and keeping our muscles strong and existent? And why would it not be enough? And why is there less talk about these other internal influences?
Yeah. I mean, I think some of that is our constant limitation in the way we think about women's health in general, right? That we are looking for answers and we want to give the easiest answer. And bodies are very different, right? Everybody's body is going to respond to all of these things differently, whether it is supplements that you take that you really love or workouts that you do. I mean, I used to do Soul Cycle all the time. I still love it, but I had to, I changed to weightlifting because I was obviously afraid of my future self. And and so people are just impacted differently. I mean, that's why when you see women who say, I have done everything right, how can I possibly have osteopenia or be on my way to osteoporosis? Some of that is just your body operating the way that it wants to work, where this gives you an opportunity to try and bring an intervention before you have to take a pharmaceutical level product, which can have those products can have very, very harsh side effects that can be, difficult for people over time.
Ironically, my mom
Yeah.
takes a osteoporosis medication,
Yeah.
and one of the risks and side effects is bone loss. And she told
Yeah.
me
Well,
that. And as
in her
someone who
jaw,
works,
right?
hmm?
It's in her jaw. The bone loss is in her jaw probably. That's where
Oh, it
often
might
where you
just be.
where you see the potential bone loss as a side effect in some of those drugs is the reduction in bone in your jaw.
Wow.
So women can experience bad outcomes in their jaw bones.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, this is compounding with strength training and an anti-inflammatory diet. I feel like the picture I'm seeing here is that targeting bone loss and maybe even reversing it. I actually have to ask, is it possible for women with osteoporosis to
Yes.
actually reverse the trajectory?
Yes, definitely. I mean, we see that anecdotally, because that's not what our clinical trial was for. We see women who have spent, a year on our product while they're lifting weights and taking care of themselves, come back with positive impacts on their DEXA scans, which is fantastic. And there are there are many, many stories of women who are able to start working on their bone health. And I think part of it is being aware of your status, you know, getting your DEXA scan. A lot of DEXA scans you can get now in multiple places. You don't necessarily need a prescription from a doctor, and they are quite affordable. So it's certainly worth trying to get a DEXA scan so you have your baseline. At least you know where you are, even in your 40s, and you can assess for yourself where you think you need to be. And if you have a family history of osteoporosis, that's an important thing to know. A lot of people don't learn that a family member has osteoporosis until there's a catastrophic hip fracture, or we have a woman who works with us who's, her mother just knocked her hand against the counter, and the whole back of her hand broke. That's the impact, like the fragility of the bones is hard. It's hard to appreciate when you're living in your body and you feel otherwise perfectly fine and active.
Mm. And so it's a quality of life thing too.
For
It's
sure.
the idea that your bones, and even in your previous work at the menopause company, you didn't target bones directly. But the idea here is that you want to not only feel good, but you want your body to be resilient.
Yeah,
So when
definitely.
little things happen, little things don't magnify into bigger problems.
Yep. Yeah.
So can normal diet-wise,
Yeah.
can normal probiotics or can eating Mediterranean style diet, are they protective enough up to a certain age?
I mean, we haven't done a clinical trial on that, so I can't say, but my belief is yes. But it's like anything. Healthy eating, exercise, taking care of yourself, getting enough sleep, all of those things protect your body, period. Right? They protect your bones, they protect your heart, they help to keep you healthy and strong. I think there are other things that, depending on your where you are in your life stage, it isn't only age, right? So losing 10% of your body weight can dramatically impact your bone health. So people who are taking GLP-1s,
Mm.
diabetics also often have a lot of issues with bone density and should get scanned earlier. So it isn't only about age, it's really about a lot of health markers. But when you think about GLP-1s or you think about diabetes, there's a lot of inflammation involved, right? GLP-1s are reducing inflammation, and a lot of GLP-1s actually, the GLP-1s themselves protect your bones, but the weight loss, right, puts your body into a confusion about starvation mode and can essentially leach density from your bones during that process. So there's a lot of time in your life, especially as you are getting older, where you really want to be thinking about what can I do for my bones now.
What do you do for your bones outside of, taking the symbiotic? And
Yes.
I know you lift weights now, but
Yeah.
you're in the thick of it. I want to
Yeah.
know what you do.
Well, I try to. contrary to what I feel like I have been told all my life, is I try to eat a lot of dairy now, even though I know it can be inflammatory, but I feel like that's a better way to be getting my calcium. I am active, and I'm on HRT, which is also protective for my bones and my brain and a lot of other things. I didn't actually have a lot of vasomotor symptoms, but I started HRT because of my brain health, and my heart health. I thought it was important to do, but now I know that it helps with my bones as well.
And that's hormone replacement therapy.
Yes, sorry. Yes,
No,
hormone
hey,
replacement
okay.
therapy. So, I'm trying to find as many ways as I can to protect my whole body, and my bones are part of it. I mean, part of my personal journey and how I came to the menopause company is that I was very achy all the time. I have a lot of unspecified joint pain, and I was misdiagnosed as having fibromyalgia, but it turned out to be perimenopause. So, with that as a kind of baseline, I did start to explore and think about my structure. And, I have issues with my back and a lot of common aging issues, but ultimately keeping my bones safe is probably one of the best things I can do for myself as I age and other parts of me start to break down.
Well, hopefully we try to prevent all these things
We do.
from breaking
We do.
down, but
We do.
I understand what you mean because it is inevitable. I mean, the body
Yes.
does change. I mean, I'm in my 20s and I've noticed changes that I'm even like, it's too early. But
Yes.
it's life, and sometimes you can control what you can control. So
True.
this is one of those things with bone health. A lot of it, the beautiful thing is it's lifestyle. A lot of it
Yes.
really is in your control.
That's right.
And so I
And I
really
do
like
think
hearing what you do. Hmm?
I think that's a really important point, actually, that there are a lot of things you can't control that will happen in your body. And protecting your bones, starting at an early age, I mean, just having the consciousness and awareness of being able to get different kinds of exercise, or, taking a walk, jumping, whatever it is that you're going to do, as with a healthy diet and other supplementation, you can make a big difference in the outcome of your musculoskeletal structure, especially if you start early.
I think that's the ticket here, and what is understanding from you is that there's still a lot of hope. It's not
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's something accessible to everyone, is this
Yes.
idea that you can take care of your bones. And it's
Yeah.
something maybe we don't think about as often on the front burner, like as much as you would focus on brain and heart, which are both
Right.
very important. But
Yes.
bone health is usually reserved to DEXA scans and calcium supplements. And it's
Right.
like, well, I don't know, maybe there's more to this story
Right.
than meets the eye. And the
Yeah.
gut, I mean, wow, the idea that the gut is the root of so much health just
Yeah, I know.
boggles my mind.
I know. Well, the nice thing actually about Bondia in particular is that it's also just a fantastic probiotic. So, we see a lot of people, taking it who are just getting a general probiotic enhancement from the microbes themselves, which is reducing leaky gut in any circumstance for your body is good, and will make you feel better and more resilient and help you sleep better, and all of those things too. So it feels like a win-win, which is part of the reason why even starting to take it earlier, right, is going to help you over life and reduce inflammation generally.
Right on. Yeah. It, it, it's feeding the good stuff.
That's right.
Um, just to wind down here,
Yeah.
I would love to know if you have any wisdom for people or any underappreciated advice you've ever gotten that has helped in your mind support your healthy aging and longevity?
I think experimentation is really what is important, and trying new things, because there's so much innovation coming around, especially around longevity. Some of it is wacky, but some of it is extraordinary. And I think that's, one of the reasons, actually, like I love to go to conferences and meet so many of these innovators, a lot of them women, trying to really think through solving problems in a new way that are good for you, good for your body, good for the environment, and things that we don't have to be afraid of, and also products that are actually tested on women. I mean, that's one of the things that we did our clinical trial only on women because that was our focus, right? And that doesn't happen all the time, but it is happening more and more, which I think is fantastic and really important. And one of the things I always look for, right, is what was the percent of women in the clinical trial for whatever product I'm going to take.
Wow, really, really great stuff. Really fascinating, and something people can all start attuning to
Right.
because the equality part is important because the outcomes might be different.
That's right.
So, wow, the coolness. Thank you so much for being here
Thank
and
you.
great talk. I love hearing about the billion trillion of ways the gut can help you because if someone said the gut impacts the moon and tides, I'd be like, yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Right.
At this rate, the gut is just everything.
It is everything. It literally is everything. I mean, everything goes through the gut, literally everything. So can do a lot of goodness through there.
You absolutely can. All right. Thank you so much for being
Thank you.
here.